Welcome back to more low-level code here. Further, of course, I spent months and now days already before the live streams making it more public. Further distilling, what is the, I already forget English. Reducing is the right word. Further reducing and preparing public and for AMD test here for this AMD Zen4 SMT Sibling illegal speculation. I already worked as usual, not live streaming every small tiny little bit anymore. So I prepared already here initRD, and so we can continue to use this for future projects. So what I've done here, I prepared already the most minimal files, because obviously I can't tell AMD download T2, build all this stuff, and in this configuration occurs, right? No, of course I can't spend half like a crash course of how to develop Linux distributions with T2. So I create one full kernel and initRD set, or mostly initRD set, so like the most minimal Linux kernel and stuff, although Linux kernel should probably mostly not matter. I've done that already, so I've extracted that here in initRD. Let's see how, so sort of bug here, that is, hey, yesterday, did I say 128 megabyte? I'm 66 megabyte uncompressed, and that is also without proc, with proc. Oh, 66. So yeah, maybe 66 megabytes. So I only extracted the T2 initRD, put all this stuff we need in user local, which thankfully is not that much. Also previously I distilled this in just the preprocessed sources, right? Because if I just take Mesa or Linux kernel or any other sources, I would need megabytes of sources and stuff, right? So I took just the compiler, just the CC1 backend or whatever you want to call it, and just the preprocessor, so like the most minimal, like the most minimal before we would further find what kind of data pattern it is. I also further found, like on top of the previous video on the my channel, so it is apparently SMT Sibling confusion, like speculative Zen4 SMT Sibling corruption without SMT, with not loading SMT, or with enabling Linux kernel Spectre version 2 mitigations. This bug does not occur, right? All right, I had one more thing to fix. So this is the most minimal. If you wanted that more minimal, like for a CPU engineer of just the sequence of instructions, that would be really, really hard. Probably, I'm not spending months of that research, unless you shall subscribe and AMD pays for it also. One more thing I need to do. I mean, obviously, I also can't, like all the T2 sources here, like I also can't just give them like, here is this build root and it's like 7 gigabyte of especially Rust and Cargo and stuff. And it's like, here, reduce test case from all my workstation system, 7 gigabyte of build artifacts to 66 megabyte. That's how you do it. Then we need one more thing, which is I hard-coded the core thread count for now. Would this be this one? Here in max or 1, where would that be? Here, getconf, so is this glibc? Okay, fine. We need that. And so copy, we probably don't have to have this from glibc, bind and imputers getconf, no, okay, copy that too. Getconf to, so I intentionally put everything in user local. Usually I have nothing in user local because that is locally installed software. So to further help people, like if someone would want this with another userland, or like slightly different user land, or in their system, I keep all the non-initRD payload in user local, then AMD engineers can, or AMD engineers or Linux kernel, other Linux kernel developers from AMD and so on, can easier extract that. So that goes there because it's not, I mean, it's not strictly needed for this test case, but then we can also, in the future, more often use our initRD with other custom payloads. So getconf, then we need user local x. X is my, do I call this x? Or maybe we call this, rename this to test. Or we call this init. And then we could theoretically always have in our initRD some user local init for some overlaying thing. We need user local init, so we need threads equals getconf. This is why I copied that there. Because I had this hard-coded, and then we need here threads. And let's test this. Does that work with, I'm not sure, let's see if it works without proc. User local test. What have I, init. User local init. Okay, cool. That does not work. Did I previously? So it probably, I probably previously had run this differently. Yeah, so either, okay, let's cd user local. Not to rely on user local init. Okay, that's not, maybe that is proc. I previously had proc mounted. Let's see, probably proc is user local test. Init. Why is it still, all right, maybe this getconf is, why does this not work? Threads. That is why. User. And you see how fast this reproduces, right? Okay, between all the shell error. It already, so it, I could, like with a reduced test case, I can reproduce this on this Ryzen 1750X within usually average 4 seconds. Although when I further reduce this test case, the time increased probably because I changed this. I didn't want to package the assembler, so only compile this to assembler sources, so it forks less, right? So it's slightly less system load of not additionally unnecessarily forking and executing an assembler and assembler and so on. So I speculate because it also freaking drop frames. Thank you very much, Vodafone. So the time to reproduce changed from average 4 seconds to maybe 10, or we will see in a second. So user local init does that. Okay, that looks better. So yeah, it reproduced already. So this is, yeah, it's like, maybe it's still average 4 seconds. You see how fast this reproduces, right? Absolutely crazy. Maybe it's still 4 seconds. It felt a little bit longer, but yeah. So we have a reduced test case of 66 megabyte. I wonder, I really wonder what kind of tracing mechanisms AMD engineers have to work on this. And welcome everyone, Anthony. Highly appreciated. So let's tar this up. That's probably you mount proc. So that's probably should be it. That's all in there. Like really. Very little, it's our standard initRD. And the only additional payload is in user local, which like fits on one freaking screen with an overly large screen size, just our Spark compiler, which is the only one we can currently reliably reproduce it here. The CC1. Also, usually this is in libexec and stuff, but I put it just here. It worked. Also, theoretically, we don't actually need that. Okay, let's leave it in there. All right, we don't need to ship this here though. And can we? Maybe we. Okay, maybe we leave it because it clobbers the test SO. I mean, we could. No, let's try one thing, which is output this to temp dot. What the capital is doesn't matter too much. I mean, it leaks files, but it's probably. I mean, theoretically we could def temp that, but nah. That's probably fine. I mean, if you leave it running forever, you will leak your memory and temperfest, but it's probably YOLO. So bind mount that. Oh, did I? Wait a second. Maybe we don't even need this. Let's check if we need that even. User local init. Okay, somehow we don't have. Do not have temp for some reason in there. Okay, we don't even need proc. Yeah. It's even on like it's truly pseudo random. It's, as you see, we have already I mean, it's always usually nearly co-fefe. Yep, yeah, that is. I mean, yeah. If you boot with Spectre version 1, Spectre version 2 mitigations in place, this bug does not occur. But in my opinion, given we are not brute force security breaking the system, in my opinion, a normal. I mean, it's not like a virus. It's not like a malicious payload. It's not intentionally clobbering and breaking the system. So in my opinion, it is a valid, just normal, regular, plain vanilla, ordinary user program that is a C compiler. And in my opinion, without, like, basically, this means a Linux kernel before all those mitigations would not work around this bug. So in layman's terms, if you, before all those security mitigations, like if you write a normal operating system, like a normal standard conforming operating system, this program does not execute reliably, right? And this is, in my opinion, this should be, it's a true, to be honest, CPU bug, which is absolutely, it's basically a once in a lifetime event, right? Like this, in my opinion, this is as bad as the Intel FDiff bug, like all the other, I had this previously opened, Intel CPU bugs. We even the 386 had the POP-A bug. There was FDiff, there was FOOF. Where is the freaking, I previously had a, so, I mean, in my opinion, it is a once in a lifetime. I found, like, just work on true, whatever the, my brain is, after debugging so much stuff, my brain stops functioning. If the various freaking, I freaking earlier had this. I've also dropped frames 700. Thank you very much. Or was it on OSDev wiki? I thought maybe I was on OSDev wiki after all. So these are all the major publicly known Intel and AMD bugs, right? So we had FOF, Intel 586 Pentium 1 MMX and stuff, course, log, compare exchange and stuff. FDiff, the famous Intel Pentium floating point unit bug. Buggy hold of DX chips, buggy hold. But we also had POP, did they have here POP-A? there was also, and here they even have Dragonfly. In my opinion, this is similar to the Dragon. I said it before. It is similar to in class to Dragonfly BSD heavy load. It's basically heavy SMT spectacular CoFefe state corruption, whatever you want to call it, right? I think I love the CoFefe name here of. I found it. I name it AMD SMT CoFefe. Spectacular CoFefe SMT state confusion bug, whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, good luck running a supercomputer and or a moon mission, right? Flying rockets to Mars with JavaScript UI controls. Yeah. Yeah, time to inform Michael from Phoronix. Yes. Surely. So, I guess temp. So now I need to delete all the temp stuff, right? Probably in the meantime, should I not? Why is temp empty? Should here not be stuff inside? Where did it write this? Did I just delete this already? User local init. Okay. What have I done wrong that we don't? I mean, not that I would care too much, but just want to see where. Why is it not writing the output to temp dash? Why does so SS assembly only? By the way, is a bug only manifest with optimizations. While reducing it, I realized, like, wait a second, why does the bug not reappear? But I had run Spark GCC without arguments, so. Like if it's not working enough, like apparently it needs to compute enough in this file, like optimize, like run enough. Maybe it would appear also eventually, but yeah, optimize, like more optimization apparently helps with that. I'm slightly wondering why it's not writing. It should write. I mean, I don't have temp here. Why is this? I mean, not that I would complain. Just I find this a little bit strange. Why is user? What have I done wrong that this does not? I mean, there is, or is it, I was stupid. It's still overwriting the file. Huh? I did all this code for nothing. Not really sure why. Maybe the last. Maybe they delete. Maybe the compiler deletes the file. Okay, so I mean, I was stupid because this is the process ID. So basically, what we would need is the job. What's this? So it's still using all this hemp file, and then it's being mostly deleted or whatever. Like on the start of compilation, GCC probably unlinks that or something. I mean, we could jobs here, like jobs equals that. And then we could use that here to have unique files, and then we also only, I mean, we had then we have jobs here, jobs, while this is so we fork one more, right? So we have 0, then we have 1. How do we? I mean, okay, we could do this inside here, like We have one more. Because we just forked one. And so the bug only, like if you have only one thread, it doesn't appear, right? You need to load siblings, so probably, I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate the stuff, right? If someone at AMD wants to unpack it and debug it differently, probably we would only need two if we task set affinity to CPU siblings, but we would need some complex code to get the SMT siblings from SysFS, which usually is, depending on your threads and core count and stuff, usually like on a 17, if you have 16 cores, it probably should be 0 and 16. I don't know if that is true for Intel, maybe it is. Anyway, so let's not overcomplicate this, and we just need to load, like if we want to test all cores, then we need to load all cores. Do you have any other comments there? Saying SMT and shared resources like always going to have bugs. Yeah, I believe SMT is disabled by default in OpenBSD since all the side channel attacks, probably for similar such good reasons. So if this is basically equal, so greater or equal, like yeah, we have forked one more. So greater or equal, should I further optimize it? I mean, it's probably fine. So let's user local init. Let's this echo that word count without new line. Yeah, maybe it does only argument handling at the beginning. 32. So I counted the dots, right, instead of manually. It's apparently 32. That's what I wanted. So we just wanted to check that we're not off by one. Like nothing more embarrassing than having a off by one bug. Oh, apparently I have some bug here. Nothing. What have I done? Jobs. What have I done wrong? Ah, right. We need to re-execute this here. We don't execute new jobs. That's not helpful. Yeah, everything just for... Okay, fine then. I mean, this would still be... Basically, this is for nothing. I mean, we could mktemp then. So I did all this code for nothing. Because, so we have there... So this does not work. We need to update our jobs here. If you have better code for that, leave in the comments below. So much to last minute clobbering the stuff. The thing is, if I would just leave the code in here, like we would clobber anyway random files. So like I basically spent 5 minutes for nothing. If we wanted to do that better, we would need to have mktemp or whatever. So basically it doesn't really matter most. It's like, well, fine, whatever. So that's fine then, user. So recurring theme of over optimization for nothing. Oh, that took long. Usually it's faster. Oh, come on. You can state corrupt faster than that. How can it possibly take so long? Ah, okay, fine. So, could not find executable. That is funny. The backtrace could not find executable to open. Ah, maybe that is proc. Let's see if that does it. If we boot the init.rd, proc will be mounted. User bin local init. Let's see, does this? I mean, okay, so this is proc. This is why it can't find executable to open. Okay, fine. That works. So certainly we want to see our CoFefe there. You mount bin, so then proc. So then, and so also I will publish this on our web server, so you can download this and test it at home. And what else do we have there? Does it happen with 0.3? I mean, I would think it would reproduce faster. Bring up a good point. Wonder if it happened on the Intel stuff. Don't follow Intel for. I mean, that's the same bug occurs on Intel is unlikely. I would think it is. I mean, given that there were more earlier found and more Spectre and Meltdown mitigation. Like when Spectre and Meltdown was now many of the Spectre and Meltdown only applied to Intel, right? The initially version 1 and whatever. So as far as I remember, the initial Zen and whatnot didn't hit. So I would expect Intel could have similar bugs, but I would think this specific code sequence is not necessarily likely to trigger Intel CPUs. Truth be told, I don't have modern Intel CPUs. I could test VR, the CHA prototype. I, of course, could test other, right? So this is optimized for generic AMD 64, so that probably should run on everything, hopefully. But given that I'm not hoarding Intel systems, I'm collecting ARM and UltraSpark and stuff, I could test in Q7, like i3, whatever, in a Mac Mini, like basically 6-year-old stuff. It's probably pointless. Of course, you're welcome to boot this on an Intel system, but if Intel has bugs, I would expect vastly different code sequences, whatever the specific code sequence here is in this case. So yeah, I probably if Intel is welcome. I do not have yet money. I'm not currently not as rich as Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I cannot buy each CPU and system and stuff, but Intel is more than welcome to donate a enthusiast, epic, and thread-ripping system to embarrassingly load those systems here also on a daily basis and potentially uncover different bugs than on those. Because as we have seen, nothing is a better all system stress test than compiling all the T2 supported architectures. So I always forget what mkinit.rd, this CPIO find and stuff. So that would be find everything. I unmounted. Is that right? Also, speaking of which. I mean, what we could do is use, but it's pointless to keep this as files. This is as a generated source files. All right, you wanted to see what happens with 0.3, right? We could see. Let's before we pack it together. Let's see if it reproduces it faster. Like if it's computing longer, like maybe it's potentially, I don't know, pure speculation. It could also be that it goes away, that this code sequence, like this memory access pattern and so on, is highly dependent and mostly, let's see, 0.3, user local init. Yeah, so that was fastish. I mean, it produces quite fast. Maybe we leave it 0.3 then. It's not necessarily faster. It sometimes takes just 10 seconds, right? I mean, maybe thermal envelope. We are not super hot, right? I'm running liquid cold, right? So my liquid loop is like it's fresh. Yeah, leave it 0.3. Maybe it produces it tad faster. Okay, It just didn't, I mean, I don't know, I mean, we could check if it produces with 0.1, I just know without, I don't know what the default is. If the default is 0.1, this might not produce as good. User local, oh no, it reproduces. Oh, this is fast. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure if this changes the most. I mean, maybe it doesn't occur with I mean, maybe 0.0 is then the default. I have no idea what the default is. Maybe I should check what the default is. Maybe without optimization it doesn't reproduce. I don't know. I can only tell you, like, yeah, maybe without optimization the code isn't run. So. I mean, we could make experiments to find out what produces the fastest, but my 5-minute gut feeling is it's not that different, to be honest. I mean, 0.1 appears to be mighty fast, so yeah. Cool. We have done things. So this is 0xC0fefe. That is, so that's my running kernel. Var log boot. Yeah, that is a LLVM Clang LTO kernel, but that doesn't matter the most. It happens with GCC. I tested this, right? I spent the whole weekend because, of course, which I forgot that, even forgot to mention this, right? In the more main channel, hey, we found a once in a lifetime CPU SMT Sibling speculating SMT Sibling bug. Of course, the whole weekend it was like, hey, maybe it's an LVM Clang kernel bug. So I rebuilt it with GCC. No, still there, right? And then I tested an older kernel and so on, right? And then I tested with ORT2 package, still a patch is still the same, right? So yeah, I spent, like if I say I spent the whole weekend, then I spent the whole weekend. And by the way, today is public holiday, the day of German reunification. And of course, attention to dedication and attention to detail, of course, on a public holiday. Not only this weekend, not only on Saturday, Sunday, and on previous live streams with my son here in the office and on public German reunification days, but hey, at least it's raining now. Yes, this is how much open source volunteers dedicate of their lifetime to keep the IT world running. So let's tar this together. Oops. I always forget the CPO stuff. So basically, so this, by the way, is just sorting a little bit for optimizing out of memory on the P3. So find anything CPIO new C format with set standard 19 or so, that together into init rd. That probably should be fine. Anthony says it appeared to happen more often with 0.3. Yeah, sometimes it takes 10 seconds, right? I wouldn't, I also thought so, but maybe I've done this already longer, right, as the last days. I thought maybe, now seeing it quickly, I thought maybe 0.1 is slightly faster. It potentially, with 0.3 it spends more time in other optimization stages and stuff. So maybe with 0.1 the time of re-executing, like instead of compiling the file for 2 or 3 seconds, compiling it only 1 second, maybe doubles the chance of like spawning a new binary and reparsing it. But anyway, it basically doesn't matter, right? If it's reproduced in 4, 5, 6 or 7 seconds, it's whatever. So now we have an init RD here, which is, so let's copy our kernel. And so in general, I will further improve my tooling and like not for the next CPU. I don't necessarily expect to find another CPU bug in my lifetime. One is probably lifetime achievement enough. Although maybe if we continue at this rate here, day and night live on this channel, maybe we do. On ARM or Apple Silicon, maybe, hey, coming up next, taking my M1 Max laptop, MacBook and compiling, like, should I stress test, like, maybe next clickbait. Will an M1 Max MacBook survive compiling all T2 architectures, and will we find a CPU bug while doing so? Or shall I subscribe? Should we purchase a Mac Pro trash can for that? Anyway, so yeah, for other stuff, right? Because using a T2, like, just simply nicely editable and compact and so on, T2 init for other stuff. For example, I've seen Samsung have Samsung Seagate. Seagate or Samsung, some of them. The big vendors all have init or boot images to flash firmware on hard disks and SATA solid SSDs, right? So if we have better tooling, maybe we can convince some big vendors to use, obviously, simply good Linux T2 build environment to build their firmware flashing images, right? So there's always a win-win, right? Including, hey, my kernel is now patched to log illegal instructions. I'm not sure how long I will run with this in productions, but hey, maybe the kernel should do that by default. Like the first invalid opcode per process, like not that it's logging 100 or 1,000 or a million for JIT causing intentionally illegal instruction causing JITs or whatever, like JavaScript and Node.js and stuff, or Ruby and whatnot. But yeah, of course, maybe this code needs to be improved of only doing it once per process or stuff. But in general, I like that, given that my CPU, my AMD CPU is SMT Sibling speculating stuff here. So what I wanted to test actually is, so copy, as usual, what do we usually boot? We boot VM Linux, right? Can we boot that? Okay, let's use this one. 6.5 stuff here. Maybe we archive the config and symtab just to be nice to developers if they wanted that for debugging purposes. And then let's see if because what I've not tried is, can we reproduce this in a virtual machine? So stay tuned. QEMU system x86 enable KVM SMP32 CPU hosts. We don't really need that much memory, but maybe a gig for whatever. And then was it kernel? VM Linux init rd. Hello, init rd. Oh shit, what have I done here now? Gee, what happened here? Error while loading shared library? What have I done to my system? It appears that something has overwritten maybe my Spark build. Yay! libgbm. This is a fresh installation, and this is Mesa? What? Okay, fine, let's put Mesa. Emerge Mesa. Yeah, security researcher recompiles Mesa all weekend long for Spark 64, and apparently now has clobbered his server image with Spark 64 Mesa. So let's see. Anthony says Wendell works with Gigabyte. I actually just got some. We could test. I actually finally got something, which is let me shortly tease something. We could potentially test if this reproduces on this 128 threads at your, who needs AMD EPIC 9754 128 core processor, anyone? Thanks to that level 1 hack, highly appreciated. I'm not yet fully set up there, this is just 2 months later, someone finally saved my secure shell key there. But I do not yet have as much access. So coming up next, building T2 on 128 freaking cores apparently. And maybe we can give it a try. Why does it still, what is going on here? Data encoded, not little endian, what even? This is, no, thank you much. Okay, let's move it apparently. So our T2 system was so clever and, so clever. That's, user lib, should have, our T2 build system detected, hey, this file was modified, you surely want to keep it. It's like, I don't want to keep it. So finally, so we restored some file. Let's finally enable KVM. No graphics. So that right. Also, we need append console tty as 0. Okay, that doesn't work. It's probably not in the path. Good that we test this. So then init, we probably, so sbin, stuff and user local bin, I guess. Maybe we do this in, also maybe freaking, maybe uninstall Mazer and force build Mazer, not to have this bloody corrupted files here, and then mk init rd. Here, let's maybe put it into our default, like if you extend this, then you get your stuff last. Nothing like a win-win here for this channel. So while we wait, so we need to re-CPI, or that right CPO. CPIO. Of course, I rename the initRD to the proper kernel version. Okay, that build. What vulnerabilities has this epic thing? Red Pauline's stuff always on. Speculative store bypass disabled. Seccomp user. So actually this has here Spectre version 1 also. Red Pauline's IBP conditional OSS. So it does not have user. So this machine I was given access to has 515 kernel. I had here on my, so what Zen generation is that even? That is PCIe 5, which Zen microarchitecture is that? What's they write here? We saw QEMU here. That produces in a VM. Yay. CPU bug visible in VM. And so, yeah, I guess so that's all we wanted, right? So what have we achieved? we reduced the test case. We reduced the test case to a 33 megabyte initRD, and that reproduces in QEMU instantly. So this is how you package stuff for, hopefully, AMD to take a look at. What I probably should hire a secretary next, and some intern and some assistant to further work domination and stuff. Because theoretically, like if AMD doesn't do something in a month or two, I guess one should go thermal nuclear war with all the press of like there is a serious processor bug that needs to be fixed. Of course, actually the thing is, yesterday when it became clear to me yesterday, the thing is I didn't even know what to do, right? I contacted the one big person at AMD I know. I wrote to them in LinkedIn of all places, because I thought that's the best visibility and where I had primary contact with them. So I pinged AMD on the one big person I know, or like medium level big person I know at AMD. Actually, I know more people at AMD, but like I know some engineers, but like, or some test engineers, but I'm not like pinging Linux test engineers. So the one higher level AMD person I somewhat know, LinkedIn stuff, I pinged him on Sunday, right? So I gave them a little bit. I opened yesterday a bug on there. I mean, it's like 2023. How do security researchers report bugs, right? AMD bug report. It's like, yeah, you Google that, right? I was like, yeah, it's like bug reporting, right? It's like, yeah, DAO user. I mean, to be fair, true security vulnerabilities and bugs are rare. And it's like, yeah, bug report is like, yeah, of course. I filled in some, on some website, some, like, yeah, you Google it the second day. Yes, I even yesterday called my best friends like, hey, do you have a minute to chat about serious CPU vulnerabilities? Because it's like, what do we do now, right? It is extremely difficult to reach anyone at AMD. What would you do? Let's brainstorm. How should we proceed, right? And then when it became, I did not even wanted to make immediately a big live stream, and unfortunately I thought like maybe we get more views, because obviously we need to earn some money somehow, working here day and night. And I had hoped that let's get some more views. Yeah, 410 so far, so much to, you think, it's not even clickbait, right? It's not even getting rich with CPU vulnerabilities. But basically, I would not have made, if I would not have found, like only when I found that mitigations, Spectre version 2 mitigations prevents this bug, only then I thought, okay, this bug is not overly serious enough to cause immediate devastation, right? And because it's like, hey, let's chat. What do you do, right? I'm aware it will be extremely hard to reach anyone at AMD. Sure, I can next post it. Another good friend of mine suggested to me last night. I should send it to Linux kernel. I can do that. The reason I didn't majorly consider that, because I consider this a processor bug, right? So sure, I will also, but this also takes 30 minutes or 60 minutes, like an hour of my day, right? It's not like you hack in 5 minutes an email to Linux kernel or x86, right? And CCing some open source AMD people you find. So if you write a serious email with some summary and you read it 3 times, because each time I write an email to Linux kernel and I read it 2 times, there are still typos in there. Like I sent it, I read it the next day and sit here like, dude, why is there this typo? Why is there this shit grammar? Like, what was I thinking yesterday? So if you rush it, you need 30 minutes to write a proper email. And if you write it, like if you double and triple check it and it still has typos and bad grammar as a non-native English speaker, then it takes an hour, right? Like it's not like a one-liner. It's like a summary of story with technical information. It takes an hour, right? And I do this tomorrow. I first need it. I mean, obviously I can't write Linux kernel without a freaking test case, which is why we did this today. But yeah, so I would not have made the video yesterday if I would not, like, if this would not be immediately workaroundable. But when I discovered like, hey, Spectre version 2 mitigations mitigate this, okay, then let's start talking about this, because obviously I spent way too much time on this, and I need to pay the bill somehow. I had hoped I'd get some more. Then, I mean, obviously then it gets some more attention, right? Like, because otherwise I could, that's why I meant I need an assistant in the secretary, because basically I don't even have time to ping like now every AMD person on LinkedIn. Like, how do you reach AMD with this? I mean, obviously not on their bug reporting website, right? So it's actually a full-time job for days. It's secretary and assistant and stuff, like to ping all the high-level AMD people, hey, we have a problem, Houston, we have a problem. Hey, by the way, CC and BCC and hello, someone there and want to react and stuff. And yeah, so that is on this management overhead is on top of all the, and I mean, I only rushed it, right? I could now for a month, I could write a PhD thesis about whatever, like you could research this for a month and distill what kind of instruction sequence. I don't have a month, right? I need to run a company. This is my hobby. This is my hobby. I have to run a Linux distribution and a company, and I, for 25 years already put way more time than I should in series other normal person do and stuff, right? So, I mean, all of this is already, I literally earn less money running a Linux distribution and finding AMD CPU bugs than if I would just improve our paperless office stuff, document scanning and OCR and stuff and PDF recompression, like, yeah, like normal people do, né? And not wasting all their lifetime of doing computer science. So, that being said, we have, so basically I could publish that now, right? And so let me Anthony, so the person Anthony's talking is literally the only man. Yeah, yes, I contacted him with yeah. But obviously yeah, it's my full-time hobby. Yeah, I contacted. That is the person I know, yeah. Good catch. But but obviously they do not monitor LinkedIn each day and stuff and like whatever. So despite constant negative press, CoFefe, yeah. Exactly, it's a CoFefe bug. That's obviously why I named it like that. If there's anything that I can do to help, let me. Yeah, I mean, proofreading, like, I mean, basically it's fine. I read it 3 times. I mean, writing all the technical story takes most of the time. I will read it 2 times. It will be fine. I cannot have other people constantly. I probably would more need a secretary and assistant. Probably having a secretary at this point with my company and my YouTube channel, I guess I'm at the point where I really need an assistant. Obviously due. It is years overdue, and yeah. So I will async this to our server. This will go live on download T2 here. I will have here some new folder. Maybe I will have it. Maybe I will have a AMD CoFefe to top level folder just for fun. Let me just async this. Wait a second. I will be back in a second. So let's see. So I'm still asynching that. So let's see. Do we have CPA on this Ubuntu system? Okay, we have mkdir bug. Let's see what Epic does. Although I still haven't. Which Epic? So no. Here. So this is Epic. Which Epic is that? So this is Bergamo, right? Should this not be or here? Bergamo. So that is Bergamo. With assistant, I mean I'm more like local assistant of in the office of usual office stuff. But thanks for the suggestions. And like, or like at least fluent enough to in English to, yeah, some things can be done remotely, but or like camera setup and filming. But yeah, also our internet so shitty. I mean, remote editing is like syncing all the high def raw video, it's like, yeah, the R-syncing is a shitty Vodafone, takes already longer than editing it. So Bergamo and Siena, Genoa. So Bergamo, SP5, where's the freaking Zen generation? TSMC5, where is here Zen? September 18. What was it even? LS CPU 9754 9754. Bergamo here, June 13th. Oh, freaking 10,000 euro CPU. Whoa, $1. Cloud HPC, Siena, something DDR5. That must be Zen4, right? Ah, there, based on Zen4, of course it's Zen4. So, just wanted to double check. So that should be the same course in hours. Let's. Do we still have people watching? No data? Why does it say no data? 10 watching, 0 frames. Yeah. So, G unzip. Do we have gzip? Decompress, init, rd, gset, cpio, I. So we don't have change root here, right? So that sucks a little bit because I'm not yet, I'm only, so we need to YOLO all the stuff. What would be our, okay, we can LD library path. So we would need to, so normally I could just change root in here, but operation not permitted. But we should be, so that is why I have all the stuff in user local. This should be reproducible as normal user. Do we have VI in Ubuntu? Okay, we have VI. So, LD, is it LD library path, right? So, I mean, obviously, what is even in the default Ubuntu path? So like, watch T2 Linux developer once in a lifetime using Ubuntu. What is even the default shit here? User local, so this is system, I can't write that. Hey, they still have user games just like T2, yay! Also, did I remove user games? Maybe I removed user games. Ah, it's also Vasi shit. It does also not really matter. I probably should remove that, to be honest. Dumb Linux distribution developer once into Ubuntu, looks at the path and decides to clean up his own Linux distribution. T2. Nothing like a win-win on remove user games for obvious reasons. So nothing of this. I mean, obviously we can modify the path to our liking, but just nothing home is in here. So then let's LD. So we of course cannot. I wonder if no, I guess it doesn't work if we. Okay, let's not make too many experiments. So, my child is doing something. Okay, my child wants to also see me back at home, so I probably should go eventually. So let's path equals basically path, right? And then current working directory bin, I guess. And I guess LD library path is empty. I guess that should LD library path lib64 for our compiler to find its files. I hope it was something of that sort. Okay, that doesn't work. Ah, shit. Okay, but of course our T2 glibc is newer. Linux ABI and API compatibility at its finest. But let's, does it work if we, they are in the init.rd, so all I need to do is, does this work for, in which directory am I? User local. Does it work if we, does the colon separated list here work for lib64 maybe? Yeah, that's not there. LD library path. Maybe only, I mean, I can just move them over. Let's make it simple. Did I? Maybe did I use the, what do we have here? AIO or GCC? Maybe I didn't have the right path in there. We apparently need, so we are user local, so user and dot, also typo. Dot lib64. Oh, segmentation fault? This is, why does the VDSO get time of day segmentation fault? What? Cool. May I suggest, if you want a really good operating system, there is this free, just unbreakable T2 Linux supporting all CPU architectures, and it actually freaking works instead of segmentation faulting. And why does the segmentation fault? Is that really, should this not be, like, why is this even a thing? That's not cool. Does it randomly segmentation fault? Like, that's curious. I mean, we surely should fork more, right? We should 100, which even, what even is happening here on this Ubuntu system? So much to, have you tried it on another Linux distribution? Yeah, at least my Linux distribution works. What is the minimal kernel of our, so I mean, obviously this is state-of-the-art Linux and not old-fashioned pseudo, like, may I present to you old-fashioned, a little bit years old and probably production ready stable Ubuntu Linux. The minimal kernel should be 3.2.0. Like, if the minimal kernel should be 3.2.0, why does, I mean, maybe it's, probably it runs system binaries with our glibc. Maybe there is some kind of conflict. I mean, we don't build ours with hardware capabilities because they're segmentation fault for me and I don't need them. So maybe there is some hardware cap thing. Let's see if we can further run our binaries here as, where did I put the path? I put it last, so that let's try to avoid running system binaries, putting our binaries first, and then the original, I mean, that segmentation calls faster. Cool. I mean, we could. I mean, there could still be so that bin, and that bin. I mean, we could completely take this out of. Why? Why? libc. Huh? Why does our... Why? How? Why? Why does the freaking libc already doesn't freaking work, TM? Or is this ifunc symbol reference in libsnoopy? What? All I wanted was my freaking own binary. ifunc symbol get time of day referenced in libsnoopy SO is defined in the executable. It creates an unsatisfiable circular dependency. In my whole life, I've not seen such error messages. I mean, why does it even... Do we have strace installed? Hey, we have strace installed. Maybe if we disable... What is this libsnoopy even? Command logger? Cool. Maybe they want to log all our commands for security reasons. Yeah, that is... I mean, do we have QEMU? Or no. Do we have KVM permissions? Are we in the KVM group? Maybe not. Okay, so goes... I mean, that might be workaroundable potentially. I have no idea what other system. So much quickly tested in 128 threads on Zen4 Bergamo. Yeah, and so much to running on foreign distributions. All right, so some minutes wasted for this nonsense. So probably don't delay, don't try Ubuntu at home. Choose the right Linux distribution. I heard it's one of the best. Yeah, fake root. Is it installed? Can we fake? Yeah. Is there a? Does this copy? I mean, it's not here though, but is curl even installed? No acceptable C compiler found in path. That's unfortunate. GCC not found, but it can be installed, which I don't have permissions for. Yeah, so much to fake root. I mean, I could potentially... I mean, there's also a limit of how much I YOLO now for that. Is it just doing some... I guess the fake root environment packages... I mean, whatever. I will test this later. It would have been nice to test now, but it is what it is, I guess. It probably, where did I even put it now? Bug or probably bug. Is there some LD ld ignore ld conf preload. When will ld preload? Yeah, environment variable to ignore ld preload. And small log. Could run or ld preload is great. However, in some corner cases are required, such cases a way to ignore ld SO preload configuration per application basis. I mean, I could hex edit that in that surely is if we, like, how often does it match LDSO preload that. So let's see if we just like maybe make a copy ld linux backup sed ld. There might not be environment variable, but we can just substitute away, right? Substitute in place ld so preload to LDSO. So you need to use, I mean, you could hex edit this, but I don't have an hex editor potentially maybe on this. I mean, maybe with Vim, but whatever. So you may not edit anything else, right? So LDSO preload to LDSO reload in here. How did I run that? lib64. Hey, who needs an hex editor when you can Mr. Stream Editor, Mr. Command Line and Stream Editor. You need grep just sed-n/match/p sed anything. So let's see. Give it one more try. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, preload snooping and stuff. It's security. Bugs. User log. How did I run that? Probably did I run test here? Init here? Ah, that's still false. Ah, pity. All right, how did I even run this? All right, how did I run this? I preloaded. So the problem is that it's still using the system LD. Of course, it totally sucks, right? I mean, workarounding everything. I mean, maybe there are more elegant, like surely I don't have experience like YOLOing stuff on. So what would we even, we only need that for this executable, right? And its children, shit. Okay, that is not that, I mean, Spark, so the problem is, I mean, this I could prefix it here. But we would need that for CC1 too. Oh, shit. That sucks. have here? Maybe is there anything LD? Is there any LD? LD as is there any env variable to override LD Linux linker library path? Is that linker executable with environment variable? Yeah, this kind of, like on Windows it would just work, on Ubuntu we have now this nonsense here. Overridden LD preload, LD library. Do we have here some LD preload? Nah. We are so close to testing this on server-grade silicon. Like, yeah, so much to one user. Yeah, I probably, theoretically they said sudo should work, just it doesn't, so, unless, like, because I don't have a password, I secure shell log in here. So, yeah, I tried already 20 plausible passwords, so it is pointless to try. What password would you set for someone to... So theoretically this system is for me to tinker, just like... yes, I tried password, I tried 1, 2, 3. I have no idea what the... Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. I have to go play with my child. I hope you enjoyed to learn something, especially that other Linux Zen4 are not as amazing, and latest CPUs still have bugs. Don't forget to subscribe, maybe Patreon, GoFundMe. No, to change the password, it wants the old password, so it's like changing password, current password. It's like I don't know my freaking current password. I wasn't giving I gave them a public SSH key. It's like whatever. I don't know. That's a problem. I wonder though, does T2 do the same? Yeah, actually it does. Yeah, okay. Fine. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't try this at home. Actually, try this at home, right? I will publish that now. There on AMD Zen4 there on download T2. I will make it a top level directory now for the convenience. Maybe later I move it. So I don't know what I should move it to. Like to MISC, research. Again, as we don't have that much other stuff there, it will be AMD Zen4 for now. And please download, test, and by the way, I slightly wonder, so we could reproduce this, right? I have the QEMU here, right? So this is in, if we boot with, I wonder if it leaks through, if we boot with that, then the host system will not exhibit this, and so what will it, how does the context switching in the user VM work? That would be the question. Does this bug show in a virtual machine guest if the host is Spectre v1 mitigated? But maybe this would, but yeah, it's time to try. This price is here, of course, crazy. 10,000 a pop, wow. Is do-as installed? What, I don't know, but what would that change? How would that help me? There it was, compress serve. QEMU. So locally it shouldn't show. Let's. Okay, so this expected this also. This is not ideal. This is in the VM, not line breaking, but whatever. I mean, okay, you could press. I don't expect, what was it? I mean, we could simply mitigations off. So this is enough, but I mean, whatever. I don't expect this to. Okay, so it depends, like as you would expect, the context switching depends on the host. If the host has hardened Spectre v2 context switching, then apparently that is enough for virtualization stuff to mitigate that. Have a good day and night, and I hope to see you soon for continued fun to come.